It's just getting our house ready to sell. I'm finally back, you guys. I feel like it's been so long since I've posted a video. So I felt like it was time to come back. There's been so many things that have happened while I was gone. So I just wanted to, before I came back with like a normal house makeover video, I wanted to just sit down and kind of explain to you guys everything that's been going on and some changes and all that kind of stuff. So probably about like a month ago, I filmed a YouTube short, which made me feel like a grandma because I had no idea how to do it. But now that I know how to do it, I feel like those are actually pretty cool. Basically, just talking about that I need to take a little bit of a break just for health reasons. We've been dealing with infertility for 2.5 years, which has definitely not been easy. And Lily, what are you doing? So yeah, I just kind of wanted to just take some time to just allow myself to just, take in everything that's been going on, and also take time to heal my body, because I really feel like what's going on inside of me is just caused by like my autoimmune disease and the inflammation in my body. So I wanted to take time to try and like figure out some diets and stuff like that, and I won't bore you guys with all of that stuff. Also, I have done so many different fertility testings. I am under the care of doctors. I actually found a new fertility specialist that we're going to see because the last doctor was really bad. So I feel good about the path that we're going. I'm going to leave it at that because I feel like that's a whole thing in its own. But like I said, I was only planning on going away for like maybe a week or two just to kind of like let my body recharge, figure out my new diet, which was really intense. After that week or two of being off, I was really gonna come back, and then we kind of had a really crazy, scary family thing happen. And I'm not gonna get into that just because it's super personal, but this thing was happening and it was a lot to deal with. So I felt like I needed like another breather after that. And then the last thing that caused me from coming back was, as you guys know, Connor owns his own business, and he will take on sometimes these like random jobs if he thinks that they're cool. So somebody asked him if him and I would be willing to move her from here in New York all the way out to Montana. So basically that's what we did. We packed up her storage unit, packed up her house, and we moved her from New York to Montana. It was a 66.5-hour drive. We did not stop at a hotel. We took some naps in the car. We also had her dog in the car with us. And it's not like it was a car. It was this huge, like, honestly, we should have had like a CDL to drive this thing. And we don't know why they didn't ask of one, because it was like a huge tractor trailer basically. And it was just like a bench seat in the front. So it was very tight. We also had her car on the back of the truck. So, I mean, this thing was huge and it was a lot. But yeah, we finally got to Montana, and as soon as we're driving into the town, we're like 10 minutes away, I start to see these like fires in the mountains, and I'm like, oh no, like what the heck is going on? And we end up driving closer and closer into the town, and as we drive in closer and closer, there's like now wildfires like on the side view, and I was so exhausted because, like I said, we didn't stop at a hotel. We really didn't sleep much. And now we're seeing these wildfires. I've never seen this before. I was just very like overwhelmed by it. The next day, because we got there around like midnight. So the next day we woke up, we moved her into her place. We stayed a couple days just to kind of like explore Montana, and it is really beautiful there. And then we flew home, which was like the worst plane ride I've ever had. The turbulence was so bad that I was like jumping out of my seat like that, and I literally was holding on to the headrest in front of me because I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it, the plane's going down. I was like, we're gonna die. It was just really crazy. I've experienced turbulence before, but never where it actually like bumped me out of my seat like that, and I had to hold on to the front. So it was pretty wild. That was our first flight, and I was like, I don't want to get on our second flight, but I did. We got home safely, thank God. And we've only been home now for like a few days, so I'm still like trying to like just get back into the swing of like now being home. Had a 3-hour time difference, so there's just like so many random factors of like trying to get back into life here. But let me now talk about selling our house, because I feel like I've been getting lots of questions about this because everyone thought when they saw the moving truck that we were moving. But when we bought this house, we bought it in March, I think, of 2019. And when we bought this house, we really only expected us to live here like maybe 2 years, but also I kind of was like, who knows though, like maybe God will keep us here for like 10 years. Like you just don't know what's gonna happen. So we always had a dream of buying tons of land, moving farther up north where Connor's from. Because like right now we kind of live in like a city. So where he's from, I'm from here. So he's from like a country area, I'm from the city area, but I always wanted to live in the country. It just seems like a slower pace, more my style. When we were like 13 and 14, we were already like talking about like how we wanted to have this farmhouse together and have all this land and all these animals and all this stuff. So it's kind of just been a dream of ours since we were super young, you know, dating and all that stuff. And when we were house hunting, we were looking for that. Like we had refused to actually look in this area that we're in right now because we were both just like, we don't want to live here. But we couldn't find anything in our price range and like with the land that we wanted and the house and all of that stuff. And then when we saw this house, we were like, this house would be such an easy flip because like it's very structurally sound and all of that. So we bought this house and it actually worked out great. My sister lives right across the street and then my parents live a street over from that. So it's really nice to have us all close to each other. But Connor and I just know like that our heart is where he's from. That's where all of our friends are. We're driving up there every single weekend to hang out with them. And sometimes even a couple times a week just to hang out with them. And it's like an hour drive. So it just doesn't make sense that we're here. Everything here is super convenient and so close. Like there's stores literally all around us, but I just think that's where we're supposed to be. When we were away and just I think with like everything that's been going on in the world lately, my sister has always been like more of like a city girl. She has had a change of heart and like really wants a slower pace of life and all this kind of stuff. And she was like, she found this beautiful farmhouse with this huge barn. And I think it's just under 70 acres. It's so beautiful. And she was like, would you and Connor want to go look at this together? And there's a lot more that kind of goes into that, which I'm going to explain in that video because I filmed us looking at this farmhouse and land and all that stuff. So stay tuned for that video. But we are kind of thinking right now of maybe like moving onto the same property as my sister and her husband and maybe even having our parents come and like build a house there as well, because that's just where we kind of feel led right now. And there's other things that like go into it business wise. I own my own business, my husband does, my sister does, and her husband does. So we're all kind of like business savvy and like, you know, we would be making something of the land as well. So that's kind of where we're at. And we have always said we weren't going to sell this house. We were always planning on keeping this house and turning it into an Airbnb or just have it as a rental just so that we could have that extra income. But if we go ahead with, you know, this property that we looked at, we would have to sell our house because this property is very expensive and it's not something that we could just like keep our house and do that. Plus the market is really good right now for sellers. So we would be getting so much more money than we paid for this house. And also all the renovations we put into it really would also help to just increase the price. There's houses right next door to us that are selling for like an insane amount of money, like in comparison to actually what they look like. Like it's really crazy. And they're like all brown inside and just so outdated looking. So we feel like it might be a good time. So we're kind of on this new journey right now of trying to figure out, like, do we want to try to do something where we could, you know, buy property with like my sister and her husband and possibly our parents, and either like if there's farmhouses on the property, move into those, or like build or whatever. So we're trying to figure out what to do. So what our current step that we're doing right now is just getting our house ready to sell, which is so crazy because I mean, a week ago I didn't think that this was happening, and now all of a sudden everything is just kind of like snowballing really quickly. Sorry, Connor is mowing the lawn, of course, right now as I'm filming. Yeah, so everything just kind of like went from 0 to 100, and we were all like, oh my gosh, like, is this really happening? So we have things that we need to do to the house in order to sell it, and if for some reason we decide like we don't want to sell the house, or we don't need to sell the house, or we're not doing this property thing with my sister, then like at least our house would be completely finished and like ready for either like rental, Airbnb, whatever the case may be. Like if we don't do this with my sister, we are still looking for our farmland and house, because actually Connor and I found a apple farm that we are obsessed with, and doesn't have as many acres as we want, but it has a beautiful old farmhouse. It has like multiple barns on the property, and it's so beautiful. And we had actually planned on going and looking at that house, and as soon as like we kind of figured out that's what we wanted to go look at, that's when my sister reached out to us. So we're like, let's try to explore this path first and just see, you know, like how we feel about that, and then also on the side like keep looking for our house. So either way, I think like it's good that we're just taking the next steps to sell the house and just be prepared in case we do finally find the house that we want. We can easily put this on the market. We're not going to have to worry about like anything that we need to fix up and stuff. Now Connor's brother's outside with the weed whacker. Oh my goodness, Willie, these boys. So that kind of brings me to what our next like few plus videos are probably going to be, all revolved around like selling the house. And I think this could actually be a fun series, because I think that a lot of people, when it comes to selling houses, they like don't, some people just don't really do enough to their house. And I've moved so many times. My parents actually are house flippers, so they always buy houses, fix them up, live in them for a little bit, sell them. So I've moved a lot and experienced this a lot, so I know kind of like what we need to do, and I think it could be like good and informative for those of you who maybe are starting to think about selling your house as well, just to give you guys some ideas of what you could do to help increase the chance of your house selling. So that's what's going to be happening. I'm really excited. I'm also going to take you guys along the house hunting journey with us, because like I said, I did film the last place that we looked at. We really like it. There's just some funny little quirks about it. So as soon as I know that like we're either getting that house or not getting it, I'm gonna post it. I just don't want to post it when we're still kind of like unsure of like what we're doing with it. And then there's 2 more houses with lots of land that we're going to be looking at hopefully on Saturday. We are really excited for this next chapter, and I cannot wait to bring you guys along. I feel like I need a change, and I just need something to like get my creativity flowing and excitement going, because right now I just feel like I'm kind of stuck in a rut where like nothing is exciting me, and I feel like I'm the type of person I need like something really exciting all the time to be happening, which is probably not good. But I'm just really excited at the thought of like finding our forever house and just knowing like that's where we're going to be, and just feeling like whatever we do to this house is going to be forever, you know? So anyway, thank you guys so much for staying along with me, even though I've been gone for so long, and just being so kind and so sweet with all of your love and support and comments. I really appreciate you guys so much. But I'm going to end the video here. And my little Willie boy, you have anything to say? Would you be so excited to live on a farm? Yeah. But I hope you guys are having a great day, and we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.